This is Cam, and I'm Justin. We're going to show you how to put a fire pit in. Because we're just so strong. We're super strong. You probably want my key valve on that side. This is how you will receive your fire pit when it comes to you. We have the fire pit all wrapped in protective foam and plastic. We recommend that you do not remove all of this during installation just to protect the powder coated finish. Inside the fire pit, you will have the cover for the fire pit, lighting instructions and a lighter, and the key to turn it on and off. We're gonna tip the fire pit up on its side to show you the leveling feet underneath here and all the gas connections. We put a blanket down just to protect the fire pit's finish. We recommend you remove this pan with burner. It is not attached when it comes from us. This is a final connection that you will do in the field upon installation. When we tip the fire pit over, you'll see that there are leveling feet in all four corners. This model is our non-toe kick model, so it does not have the additional toe kick, it just has the leveling feet. You can use these to adjust for irregularities in the concrete or adjust for slope. The benefit of the toe kick model over this one is that the toe kick is independent of this, so you can adjust for slope and still not see the gap underneath the fire pit. These leveling feet, you just use a standard crescent wrench. It has nuts and washers on the top. So just adjust those and then tighten them back up when you're finished. I usually do this after we put it in place. We're just showing you what it looks like before we set it over the gas line. This fire pit is one of our toe kick models. This toe kick is independently adjustable from the top. So you can do that to adjust to the slope of the patio, or to adjust for uneven surfaces. In this particular model, you loosen this top nut, it will come to you already tight, and then you can adjust it by turning this nut up or down, which will move the toe kick up or down from the fire pit. When you're done, just make sure that you tighten this nut back up, and you should be good to go. This height here is preset, so there's no need to adjust this particular part right here. This is how the gas line should be set up for proper installation. All of this should be done by a licensed contractor before you put the fire pit in. In this case, we have an additional regulator because we do have 2 pounds of gas pressure here. Our fire pits are only set up for 4 ounces of standard gas pressure, so install a regulator if you've got higher than that on your gas pressure line. After you verify that this is all ready to go, I recommend having this work all complete before you put the fire pit over this. It's just a lot easier to do this work before the fire pit's in place. After that's done, you can pick the fire pit up and place it over the gas line like that. And then at this point, we will measure it and put it right where we want it to be. Every fire pit installation is unique in its placement. Typically, we recommend between 20 and 24 inches of space between the bench, the front of the bench or seating, and the fire pit. This allows you to sit down and fill the flame, but still have somebody pass in front of you. In this case, the bench is not here yet, so we have planned accordingly, and that's what the blue tape lines are. We put the leveling feet on the fire pit like we mentioned before, so that we can take any irregularities out in the concrete. As you can see, this one has a little bit of movement to it. So we're gonna go ahead and adjust the one corner down so that it doesn't shake anymore. You can loosen the nut with a crescent wrench and then adjust it by hand and tighten it when you're finished. Our fire pits come with these flex lines. These are whistle-free flex lines. They make both connection of this fire pit easy, and it avoids the whistling sound that you can hear with other flex lines. As you notice, there's a different bend pattern here, and that's what makes them so that they don't whistle. They will be zip tied right here just during shipment. So the first thing to do is to cut the zip tie. Remove the zip tie from the fire pit. And then you can see they do come pre-set up with the flare fitting on it. We've already got that installed on the regulator, so I'm going to go ahead and take that off. And then they are also labeled right here, in and out, on those fittings. It is important that you hook it up the right way, in being the one that goes to the gas supply coming out of the concrete. If necessary, sometimes the regulator and gas supply is down here. This fire pit does allow you to place it in any place pretty much over that gas line. We do have specs on where the gas line should be placed, so look at those just to ensure that you've got the gas line in the right location. In this case, the gas line's a little bit to this end, so we could put this, because we have the flex line, we can bend it around like that and then hook it up to the regulator. Just make sure if you do have to bend the gas line like that, that you do not have any kinks or tight bends. Those can restrict the gas flow and make it whistle. So I go like that, and then we'll just go ahead and tighten this last connection here. All the time when you're doing that, just make sure that the gas supply is off to the fire pit until all of these final connections are made. Okay, so the best tool to use to tighten this final connection is just a couple adjustable wrenches. Make sure you back up the other side. This is a flare fitting, so you do want to tighten it down tightly, like so, just to ensure that it doesn't leak. And that's it for the gas connection to the supply line. This other line, I'm going to move it up here in preparation to connect to the burner as the final connection. I recommend at this point that we turn the gas on and test all of our connections for leak, just to ensure that we don't have any leaks anywhere. We recommend testing all of the gas connections and gas fittings before you finalize this installation. Easiest way, they make a leak detector, or you can use soapy water in a spray bottle. Just make sure that the gas line is on both at the house and here, so that there is pressure in the lines. And then just go through and spray your fittings. Spray all of the fittings in here, looking for bubbles. If there was a leak, you would see bubbles start to form, knowing that you either need to pull the fitting apart or tighten it, and just address that before moving forward. I suggest you test every fitting. So the final step before finishing your installation, just again, make sure that the gas valve is back on right there. And then pick up the fire pit pan with the burner attached. Sometimes this takes 2 people if the pan is large. In this case, it always helps to have an extra hand to help hold it up so that you can do this final connection. This is just another flare fitting. Go ahead and put the flare fitting on. And then go ahead and put your adjustable wrenches on here and tighten this up fairly tight because it is a flare fitting. You ensure that's tight. Lower the pan down in there like that. So now that we've got all of the gas connections finished, we've got the pan installed and the burner ready to go, we're going to go ahead and put the final fill material in. In this case, it is tumbled lava. Tumbled lava is one of our most popular fill materials. We also do glass, so either way the process is the same. This is where it comes back to the reason why we left the foam and the protective wrap on this fire pit during installation, because when we put these rocks in there, we don't want to set these bags on top of here and potentially damage the powder coat. So you just go ahead and carefully The rock should be placed just a little bit above the surface of the fire pit like so. And just go around and level them out when you're finished. Now that we have everything all finished, the final step is just to remove the packaging. Carefully cut away the shrink wrap. We don't recommend using a knife or anything that might scratch it. In this case, I've got a pair of scissors. We'll just carefully cut the shrink wrap off. Remove the foam, and there you have it. Fire pit that's ready to go. As a final step, we're just going to make sure that this fire pit is square with the wall. We'll go ahead and take a couple measurements. And it looks like we need to move this in just a little bit, which we still can do. And now it's set perfect. When you're finished, if you need to clean off the fire pit, or any time when you need to clean off one of our fire pits, we recommend using either like a car chamois like this, that's slightly damp, or a microfiber towel. If there is a lot of dirt on top of the fire pit, wash it off first before you scrub it with any type of a rag. In this case, this fire pit's clean. There's just a little bit of dust on there, so we'll just go ahead and wipe this off like this. The nice thing with the chamois is it does not leave streaks.
All right, now we're going to show you how to light your Outdoor Elements fire pit. First, we recommend bringing your lighter close to the burner and introducing a flame. Then you simply turn the key valve on until it ignites the burner. Once the flame's lit, you can adjust using the key valve to get your desired height.
Like so. All of our fire pits include the same cover just to help protect the fire pit and keep it clean. Just before you put your cover on, just make sure that the fire pit has been turned off and that all the rocks are cold. Usually takes about an hour or so before you put the cover on, just to make sure that the cover doesn't melt.